Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diana Rogers, and I am a Senior Community Development Officer at NJEDA, and I would like to welcome you to our Small Business Lease Grant and Small Business Improvement Grant listening and information session for Atlantic City businesses. We just want to thank the City of Atlantic City for allowing us to be able to host this event. And I want to bring on Mr. Bruce Weeks, who works with the businesses in Atlantic City. And Mr. Weeks, if you would like to offer a few words to your businesses that are joining us today, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Diana. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bruce E. Weeks. I am the Constituent Services Director for the Mayor's Office here at the great city of Atlantic City. I just want to welcome everybody to this webinar presentation. I think it's important that we give thanks to the NJEDA and their team for carving out some time specifically for us today. So I want to thank them. And I want to thank everybody for joining this webinar to learn more about the great programs that they have going on. I think it's time that we really get aggressive and take advantage of these programs because they're available throughout the state. But we want to see more Atlantic City businesses receive some of these funds to improve their small businesses. So again, we want to thank NJEDA for taking the time out today, especially for us. And I want to thank everybody who's taking interest. I personally met with a few businesses last night to give them this information, and I had a few people who were very excited. They didn't know about it, so we're looking forward to a great presentation. And again, I just want to welcome everybody. And again, I want to give a special thanks to the NJEDA team for providing this service for us.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Weeks. And just a few instructions before we get started. We will have Q&A, so please be aware that we will have an opportunity at the end of the presentation to answer any questions that you have. However, if you have questions during the course of the presentation, we just ask that you would put them in the chat box. And during the presentation, we will get back to you through the chat and then also answer questions at the end. And so, again, as I stated, I am Senior Community Development Officer with NJEDA, and my primary focus is with the Government Restricted Municipalities, or GRMs, of which Atlantic City is one. There are 3 government restricted municipalities in the state: Atlantic City, Trenton, and Patterson. And they were established through the Economic Recovery Act of 2020. I serve as the liaison between the GRMs and NJEDA, ensuring that the municipalities, its community stakeholders and businesses are able to take full advantage of the products and services offered by NJEDA. And as products and services roll out, it is my responsibility to ensure that you are made aware of what is available. I, along with our team of professionals at NJEDA, will accomplish this through briefings, one-on-one meetings, workshops, seminars, and listening sessions, as we are doing today. Now for a few words about the NJEDA. NJEDA is the principal agency focused on driving economic growth to create a stronger and fairer New Jersey. NJEDA grows the state's economy and increases equitable access to opportunities by supporting high quality job creation, catalyzing investments, and fostering vibrant, inclusive community development. And to achieve this, these goals, we work in partnership with a diverse range of stakeholders to implement programs and initiatives that improve quality of life, enhance economic vitality, and strengthen New Jersey's long-term economic competitiveness. Now, as you know, we've been experiencing COVID-19 over the past 18 months, and NJEDA's top priority has been supporting businesses and communities that have been impacted by COVID-19. And during the past 18 months, the authority has issued more than 92,000 awards that equaled more than $665 million to businesses across New Jersey. And these numbers change daily as the authority continues to fund applications. And as you will see, here are some examples of the types of support and awards provided by NJEDA during COVID-19. As you can see, the support varied from loans and grants to micro businesses and entrepreneurs to supporting meals for hundreds of thousands of New Jerseyans through our Sustain and Serve program. And now we began to shift from the immediate challenges of COVID-19 to focus more on long-term sustainable support for small businesses and communities. And the guiding light for these efforts is the New Jersey Economic Recovery Act of 2020, or the ERA. Now, the ERA was signed in January 2021, and it creates a package of programs that includes tax credits to incentivize job creation, new construction and revitalization of brownfields and historic properties, also financial resources to support small businesses, and funding to support opportunities for early stage companies in New Jersey, as well as support for growing film and digital media industries. Now, some of the priorities, the ERA was designed to achieve long-term equitable economic growth that aligns with the priorities laid out in Governor Murphy's economic plan. And as you see here, those priorities are investing in people, investing in communities, making New Jersey a state of innovation, and making government work better. And now, to achieve some of these goals, the ERA creates 8 new products and expands on 7 existing programs. The new programs listed here are a wide range of proven and innovative support programs that support businesses of all sizes, from incentives to help developers clean up contaminated and historic properties to our groundbreaking New Jersey Innovation Evergreen Fund. And now, again, the underlying principles for these programs are to support job creation, to increase investment in innovation, to provide relief for Main Street programs, as well as to help underserved communities and implement anti-corruption and oversight reform. And the oversight reform is really about ensuring transparency and accountability. And as you can see here, here are some of the measures that have been taken that have been included in the ERA, which have been critical for reform. Now I want to talk about two of the very exciting programs that are part of the ERA, and that's the Emerge program and the Aspire program. These programs are successors to the Grow New Jersey and the Economic Redevelopment and Growth tax credit programs. The Emerge program encourages economic development, job creation in priority sectors and in targeted communities across New Jersey. The program provides per job tax credits to projects that invest in private capital into the state and create new good paying jobs and retain a large number of good paying jobs. Now, if you are in our GRM, as Atlantic City is, projects can receive anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 per new job created or retained per year for 7 years. And when you think about it, that is a huge boost and benefit to incentivize business development in a GRM city like Atlantic City. Now, other projects located in GRM cities can max out at the $8,000, as I said. Additionally, there is a threshold for GRM cities, the project threshold where you have a combination of new or retained jobs is lower in a GRM city than they would be in other cities in New Jersey, as well as a lower threshold for the net benefit to the state. So again, it's bonuses like these that incentivize development in cities like Atlantic City. Now, the second program is the Aspire program. And the Aspire program is a gap financing tool to support commercial and mixed use and residential development projects that it replaces the ERG. And like Emerge, there are benefits to being a GRM city. With Aspire, one such benefit is the minimum project cost threshold. While the project cost in other cities in New Jersey is based on population, for a GRM with Aspire, the minimum project costs are based on population, but for GRMs, the minimum project cost is $5 million regardless of population. And so being a GRM like Atlantic City, there are great benefits to begin to work with to ensure that development happens in Atlantic City. And we want to be able to position Atlantic City to take advantage of these opportunities that are available to them. Now, the Aspire program is set to roll out in early 2022. And so we want to make sure that you are prepared for it. And now what I'm going to do is pass this, the presentation at this point over to my colleague, Carla Morrison, who will talk about the Main Street Recovery Program.
Thank you, Diana, and good afternoon to everyone. One of the various ERA programs that I'm going to focus on today is our Main Street Recovery Program. And while Emerge and Aspire will foster vibrant community spaces, the Main Street Recovery Program will provide the financial boost businesses and nonprofits need to reopen and prepare for long-term success in the aftermath of COVID-19. Now, this $100 million program will fund multiple financial assistance products and is aimed at supporting the growth and the success of New Jersey small businesses. These products will include grants for small businesses and nonprofits, loans to micro businesses, and resources for lenders that serve micro businesses and other historically disadvantaged communities. Now, the first two products created under the Main Street Recovery Program are the Small Business Lease Grant and the Small Business Improvement Grant. These products are aimed at revitalizing downtowns by helping businesses lease street level space and make investments in improving their facade or space. Now, the Small Business Lease Grant is a $10 million program that will provide 2 grants of up to 20% of annual lease payments to businesses and nonprofits entering new or amended leases. The first grant will be paid to entities immediately after they are approved for the program and execute the grant agreement. And then the second grant will be paid after the first year of the lease. Now, in order to qualify for the Small Business Lease Grant, businesses and nonprofits must enter a new lease, a lease amendment, or lease extension that includes at least 250 square feet of additional street level office, commercial, or retail space. Applicants must also commit to remaining in that space for 5 years. And we do have more information about the lease grant on our website, and we'll be sure to put it in the chat for everyone as well. Now, commercial businesses and nonprofits are eligible to apply as long as they meet SBA's definition of a small business, which is determined by their NAICS code. The applicant will need to provide a current tax clearance certificate, for which we have instructions on our website. Applicants must also be in good standing with the Department of Labor and Department of Environmental Protection. Applicants must also certify at the time of application that they will pay wages that are greater of $15 an hour or 120% of the minimum wage rate. And also, again, you must commit to being in the space for 5 years. Now, the lease space has a few eligibility requirements, and they are as follows. It has to be 250 to 10,000 square feet. So if it's more than 10,000, that is okay. The grant will take care of the first 10,000 square feet. And it must be commercial or retail space with a minimum 5-year term. And it must be a new lease or an amendment or extension of the existing lease. New or amended space must be at least 250 square feet prior to the current lease. It must include first floor, which is street level. If there are multiple floors, the grant is going to satisfy the street level. And it must be market rate based on commercial real estate information. and it has to be executed no more than 12 months prior to the application. Now, here are some important exclusions. Applicants cannot terminate an existing lease or enter into a new lease for the same or less square footage in order to pursue this grant. Businesses operating under an existing small business lease assistance program grant agreement are not eligible to apply, but may opt out of their existing grant lease to pursue this grant. Grantees that default on lease payments or leave the space during their grant term are no longer eligible for the incentive and must repay any funds that they received from EDA. High-tech and business incubator members in not-for-profit facilities are not eligible for independent lease incentives. However, operators of incubators are eligible. Landlords cannot have ownership interest in the tenant, and the tenant would need to get certification from the landlord that they are current on all their lease payments. Now, in regards to our Small Business Improvement Grant, which we hope to launch late November, December, it is a $15 million program that will provide grants up to $50,000 to businesses and nonprofits for a portion of the costs associated with facade and facility improvements and the purchase or installation of furniture, fixtures, and equipment. The project has to be completed and paid for prior to applying. Now, grants are available for projects that are completed anytime since March 9th, 2020, and the total project cost has to be $5,000 or more. Businesses and nonprofits that receive grants less than $25,000 must commit to remaining in the space that they are investing in for at least 2 years. Grant recipients that receive $25,000 or more must commit to staying in the lease for at least 4 years. Projects that have a total cost greater than $50,000 are required to adhere to green building standards for mechanical and lighting improvements. And we do have more information in regards to the Small Business Improvement Grant on our website, and I will make sure that the link is there as well. And now, to be eligible for the Small Business Improvement Grant, the eligibility requirements are pretty much the same as far as meeting SBA's definition of a small business. You have to rent or own and operate from the facility as a commercial business. We do need the current tax clearance certificate, and you do have to certify at time of application that you're not in default of any other EDA or state assistance, and certify at time of application that you're willing to pay the minimum wages that we talked about, $15 an hour or 120% of the minimum wage rate. Now, in order to be eligible for a reimbursement, the project must be completed prior to application. And we want to reiterate that again, and home-based businesses are eligible, but only for the purchase and/or installation of furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the business. All work, again, must be completed not before March 9th. So from March 9th and on, that's when the construction could have been done. And we do accept invoices, statements, and canceled checks to be provided to us for proof of payment. In its entirety, the requirements for Main Street Recovery Program are wage requirements, as we spoke of, green building standards, affirmative action, which means for the Small Business Improvement Grant, contractors with 4 or more employees are subject to affirmative action requirements. In addition to the Small Lease and Small Business Improvement Grant, the NJEDA intends to pilot additional products to be funded through the Main Street Recovery Program. Products currently under development include low-cost working capital loans of up to $50,000 for micro businesses and loans to micro business lenders to help them increase capacity under existing loan programs or establish new micro business lending programs. Now, lenders who participate in the program will also receive grants to support technical assistance services such as credit report, repair services, assistance with writing business plans, and help prepare financial statements for micro businesses that receive the loans from them. Some of the eligible lenders that may qualify for the program are CDFIs, which are community development financial institutions, minority depository institutions, zone development corporations in cities with populations of over 100,000, community development corporations, economic development corporations, and nonprofit lenders with at least 10 years of experience in lending to micro businesses. So I'm going to pass it over to our program manager, Maggie Peters.
Good afternoon. Maggie Peters, Program Manager for Small Business Services on the non-lending side. I'm just going to take you through a quick overview of some of our standard small business service products. So first, I'm going to start with direct loans. So the NJEDA offers small businesses a variety of low-cost financing options, including direct loans, loan participations and guarantees, lines of credit, as well as tax-exempt bond financing. New Jersey businesses in need of financing and are committed to job creation and retention may be eligible for direct loans, but just keep in mind that there is a retention and job creation component for the direct loan for every $65,000 of NJEDA exposure. So loans up to $2 million are eligible for fixed assets and $750,000 for working capital loans. Our Premier Lender Program. So in addition to the direct loans, EDA partners with banks to overcome financial obstacles that can stall growth and expansion for New Jersey businesses and not-for-profits as well. Through these partnerships, businesses can access low-cost financing from our Premier Lender banks. This allows us to offer more flexible and reduced interest rates, so more flexible terms and reduced interest rates for businesses because we don't have as much exposure and neither does the bank because we've partnered together on the Premier Lender Program. Here are the Premier Lenders that we partner with. As you can see, large, small, community-based. We will usually work with whatever bank you're already banking with, and then we'll try to get the best rates and terms. CDFI, Loan to Lender Program. So our community development financial institutions, working with them allows us to assist smaller businesses. They're community-based lenders, so we work with them and make sure that they're able to lend within the community. This program provides financing to qualified CDFIs for the purpose of administering term loans, lines of credit, to qualified micro and small businesses. So you'll see CBAC and you see EDC and Pursuit, New Jersey Community Capital. So those have been our partners in the past. We've expanded our partners since then. So we're trying to make sure that we can get money into our communities through our community development financial institution partners through our loan to lenders. Small Business Bonding Readiness Assistance Program. So this is a program that we're really proud of because sometimes money isn't always the answer. You need that technical assistance as well. So we work with our partners at the African American Chamber of Commerce to provide this program to small and micro businesses. This program provides a comprehensive series of classes, workshops, and strategic counseling sessions covering a variety of topics relevant to small businesses in all sectors, including bonding and insurance, business development, financial presentation, construction and contract law, construction management, estimating credit. At the end of this program, all of the businesses that participate receive a bonding readiness segment report, which allows them to understand their strengths and weaknesses and work on those weaknesses and build on their strengths. So after these businesses finish this program, they're also connected with entities that provide surety bonding so that they can become bonded and then pursue state and federal contracts to help grow their business. To date, this program has graduated nearly 100 businesses, and the participants have qualified for $33 million in surety bonding. So that's a program that we're really proud of. And for more information, you can visit our website. That brings me to the end of my portion. If there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Maggie and Carla. We are now going to open up for our Q&A. Again, you can, if you've already put questions in the chat, we will answer those questions in the chat. If you would like to raise your hand, we just ask that you use the raise hand function that you see in Zoom, and then we will have you unmuted so that you can ask your question live. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask your questions at this time. Caitlin, you're on mute.
We do have somebody with their hand up.
Okay.
And Joseph, you should be able to speak.
Hi, how are you folks? Thank you very much. My thought is we are a small business owner in Atlantic City. We do own the property. And the question is that during COVID, we took the back area of our restaurant and we turned the parking lot into a seating area. And then we went ahead and we reconstructed through construction. We did a new concrete. We built a whole permanent structure, but it's behind the restaurant. It's not in the front or main street of it. Would that be does it qualify, or are we not qualified for that?
Is it a permanent structure?
Yes, we're keeping
Okay.
it now because it added to our business, and we were able to, during COVID, we were able to increase our business only because of the COVID situation. So we actually doubled our seating capacity because of it. And now we're keeping it and we're continuing to build upon it. And we're actually filing right now with Atlantic City for an extension of premises for liquor licensing. So we can continue to keep it, but we are still covered until November 2022 under COVID law. So during this time, we're making application to make everything permanent. But again, it is the back of our facility. It isn't the front door of it. So that's the only concern I do have with it.
Yeah, so as long as it's street level space, it is eligible, but you would have to have a lease on it. That was
okay. So we own the property under it, but so we wouldn't qualify because we are the landowner, and we do write a lease out to ourselves for liability purposes. But we are both, so I guess that would disqualify us. I guess. Okay.
I think, Christina, are you on? I'll follow up with you, Joseph, on that. Can you put your email in the chat, please?
Sure,
Oh, Christina is here. Can you unmute
Okay.
Christina, please, Caitlin? Just because I think if you lease to yourself, you may still be eligible.
Okay.
She should be able to unmute herself. Yeah. I can't unmute her.
I'm good.
Okay.
So he wouldn't be eligible because you can't be a related entity, right? So landlords and tenants can't be related, but you're a perfect candidate for the improvement grant. So all those costs related to building that structure, any type of equipment you may have had to purchase, you're going to be reimbursed 50% of that and up to $50,000.
And that program's not live yet.
Yeah,
But it
you just
will
have to
be.
wait for us to get.
Okay.
So gather up your documents and, make sure you have your invoices, statements. It has to be a paid invoice as well too. So if you need to print out a credit card statement, something like that, bank statements, we just need to know how the money was spent, what to spend it on. That can be also like point of sale systems. If you need to do an upgrade, if you have to buy computers, we can cover that. We're just not going to cover any type of software costs associated to that, but we do cover that actual equipment. And I'm sure in the last 18 months, most small business owners due to COVID had to make some type of adjustment and would qualify for this.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Cancel checks are good, correct?
Yes, absolutely. That would be perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
that's ideal.
Thank you so much. Very informative, and it's wonderful. And thank you for the state for helping us out through this. And fortunately, we were strong enough as a family, and our staff is amazing to be able to look at this as an opportunity as opposed to a failure, but thank you again. Have a good day.
Absolutely. I would recommend to all the small business owners that are listening, tax clearance certificates are going to be required on all these products that were mentioned under Main Street. So you definitely, if you can get ahead of that, start getting, making sure you can go to your Premier Business portal, get registered, print out the certificate so you're familiar with that process prior to actually waiting till applications go live. It's better to have it before that happens. So we have directions that we can share with you if you need it, but it's definitely something you want to get familiar with, because being registered and being in good standing with the state is a requirement for all these products.
And Carla just put the improvement grant checklist in the chat. So you'll have the link to the directions for tax clearance and all the other necessary forms and information.
That's great. Thank you for doing that. That's perfect.
I don't see any other questions in the chat, but if anybody else has one, you can put one in there or raise your hand, just like Joseph did.
I just want to take a minute, since there's not a question right now, to just say at the bottom of NJEDA.com, the homepage, to find out what programs are launching and when the improvement grant is going to launch. You should put your email in to our newsletter so that you're getting all those updates and that you're prepared for those launches and ready with all your documentation.
Diane.
Do we have any other questions at this time?
Oh, somebody just raised their hand. Give me a second. Let me go to them. Jane Williams, go ahead. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I currently own the Back Bay Ale House down in Gardner's Basin, and honestly, we've had a very good last 2 years just because of the fact that we're mostly outdoor dining. But we did purchase a property at the old Waterway Inn back in Venice Park. It was a building that was not in use since Hurricane Sandy. And we since have had to level that building because it was in such bad shape that it was actually a hazard. So we're actually talking about rebuilding at some point in time. And we would probably be employing about the same number of people that we do at the Back Bay Ale House, probably about 125 to 150 people. Is there any type of program out there for us to help us to build a new business from the ground up in Atlantic City?
One of the, you know what, Jane, allow me to take your information because we can see whether or not this is a opportunity for Emerge, but I can get back to you and follow up with you on that. Okay.
Okay.
So
That
if
would
you
be great.
go with your,
Yeah, I can answer that question right now
Okay.
actually for you. So Emerge is, it's all based on sales tax generation, and typically like you're looking at more of kind of like retail strip malls and office space, mixed use kind of thing. Like there needs to be a steady stream. I could tell you with a restaurant, it's going to be a hard fit in that regards, unless it was part of some type of mixed use project. I also want to just kind of warn you, prevailing wage would be associated to your project for any type of, financing or incentive you would look through for the state. So that's going to increase your project costs, but I would think more of a loan rather than incentive would be the better route for you.
Okay.
So if that is something you want to pursue, who do you bank with now would be the questions, but Diana, if you can get her information, then we can make sure she gets introduced to the right person. That would be helpful.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
I don't know how to get you my information, Diana. Do I just put it in the chat?
Yeah, can you put it in the
yeah,
chat?
if you could put it in the chat.
Sure. Okay.
So
Just
I have another question though. Do you have environmental issues that you're aware of at that site? Just out of curiosity.
We have none. We've had a complete study done and everything is good.
Oh wow, I'm surprised. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, it's back off of Riverside Avenue in
Oh yeah,
Venice.
I live in Galloway, so I know. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very excited to get started. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I missed that restaurant a lot. It was beautiful views.
I had one of my first dates there with my husband 20 years ago. So yeah, it's sentimental, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, I was happy to see it get picked up.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna put my name and phone number, I guess. Is that good enough?
Sure.
And
That-
email? Okay,
that
all right. sounds
email
good.
is fine. Mhm.
Thank you.
And while Jane is doing that, if anybody has any additional questions. No additional questions? Okay. Well, with that, we want to thank everybody for their participation. We want to thank Bruce Weeks and the city of Atlantic City for getting this information out to the businesses. And we want you to know to look forward to more opportunities like this. We will be reaching out and we will be organizing other webinars and seminars to be able to support the businesses in Atlantic City. With that, we want to say good afternoon and take care. Bye-bye.